Okay, so let me answer this question in a couple different levels. First, I'm going to answer it by saying that my grandmother had spirits trapped in a house, and in April, that house burnt to the ground. And I know some of those spirits were released, right? My grandmother's been gone for 20 years, but those spirits were still in that house for the entire 20 years that she was gone. And then I've also seen in Georgia where there was a place that burnt to the ground, several places that were haunted where they thought spirits were burnt to the ground. And people are saying, why is this happening all of a sudden? Well, 2025 is a big shift spiritually for the world. And before 2025, back in 2019, we started seeing this massive shift towards traditional religion and traditional beliefs and people reconnecting to their roots. And when you reconnect to your roots, you also give power to those ancestral industries. We were taught and separated and made to believe that our connection to our ancestors was something we should not revere, was something we should not focus on. So, just with anything else, those ancestors were relying on our strength as part of their ability to do things, which is key. No different than what you might say in Greek mythology, where the gods depended on people to pray to them. It is also an ancestral depending on us to believe in them and believe that they need justice, they need things, right? That's part of it. There's so many levels to what I can say about this. But with that big spiritual shift, there were more people who were desiring for these ancestors and us by way of the ancestors to kind of have some sort of retribution for slavery, for the mistreatment of blacks in the America and outside of the Americas. And that has been a theme for the last 6 years. And then we get to 2025, which is a huge spiritual shift for the world. And you see where we're in America, in the United States at least, there's a time of them trying to take us back. And there's an uprising that's occurring. And in that uprising that's occurring, you see they're stripping laws and trying to remove the ideology of slavery and what it was. And then you see people saying, no matter what the religion, whether they're Christian, they're Hoodoo, they're Ifa, they're all these different things, they're Muslims, they're giving reverence to the ancestors and saying, no, our ancestors did not die in vain. They're respecting them, they're coming back to them. And all of a sudden you're seeing these events that occur that are showing you the ancestors are standing up. It's almost like they were trampled on for so long and they were weak and they did not have the strength. And this whole shift has given them the strength. And this is what I believe. And this is not something from like I said in those other religions, but I know that my grandmother, for instance, the people that she had trapped in the house, um, s- some of them were considered not good people when they were alive. And so you could say they were being kind of imprisoned there as to not cause harm. But some of them she had there because she didn't like them. Let's just be real. And I think as a people, we were taught to not like our ancestors. We were taught to say things like, I'm not my ancestors, when in fact you are, it's in your DNA. We were taught things like, oh, they were in slavery and they weren't trying to get out. When many of them were trying to get out, but you don't understand the sheer number of them who died beforehand, who died attempting to get out. You don't even understand the blood of the ones who died as they were trying to figure out this new land. You have to also remember that when they came here, they initially did not even know where to escape to, right? The ones who came by way of slavery. There were other ones who were already here. But I could ask you, why did it take so long for the slaves to be free? Why did it take so long for them to rise up, and why did it take so long for the Civil War to occur. But as a person who studies astrology and numerology and the alignment of the planets, I understand timing and I understand cycles. And so we are in a cycle where all of this stuff is coming to a head. And there's been a spiritual thing that's been happening, a spiritual kind of transformation. And now all of these spirits that are in the earth that are trapped in places are being released and coming out. And you're going to see more and more people tap into their spiritual gifts and tap into the connectivity with the ancestors. And you're going to see more and more people use that to empower themselves and empower their lives. So, short answer is it took so long because we were not ready. We were not really connected to our ancestors as much as we should have been. And our eyes were not open. And also, we did not have the internet to where at one point to where you could see these things. Remember, in the United States at least, what we see on the news is what they want us to see. And now we have so many more sources to where we can see a lot of what is happening and occurring. So that's my take on that. Have a good one.